All right, so this question was asked. Everything that I love and hate about my 3rd gen Ram 2500. So I'm gonna go after that. But before I do that, you guys can see we have a gooseneck coupler on the trailer, but we have a 5th wheel in here. Well, we just got a new coupler. So I'm gonna switch this out real quick, and then we're gonna get into basically everything I love and hate about my 3rd gen. I've had this thing since 315,000 miles, and I am at 531,000 miles, and I only bought it like 3 years ago. So let's get the coupler swapped, and then let's go over it. All right, so I got these loosened up, and this thing actually moves pretty freely. So like you can see, if I pull that out, let him step away from it just to be safe. I am super happy that that came out of there really easily. So let's go swap the new one on, and we'll go from there. Thank you, Brian, for sending me this. Appreciate you. And it's the one I wanted because I like the beefy square as opposed to the round one. I don't know. I like the look of the beefier like this. I don't like the round couplers. It's just not my thing. All right, so what we're doing, I dropped it on this, and then now we're just basically doing this, and it's slowly pushing itself up in. Now what I'm gonna end up doing is, once it's high enough, I'm gonna start using the bottle jack, but in the meantime, I have a ton of jack space to use. I want that all the way up in there. All right, been at this a little while now. We were able to get it dropped down to this point. It's completely floating on there. I've like smacked it with a hammer on the bottom, and it's been going up. I need to go 2 more holes to get this thing perfect. That's what I want. I want it up at the bottom hole right there. So as you guys can see, like I can pretty much like move the whole trailer back to back. It's literally just being supported by that piece of wood. And let's see, put this down a little bit. We have some stability, but I might grab the come along. We'll see if I can't get it anymore. All right, so I found out what the problem was. It turns out this top stud here was in a little bit too far. So I was able to pull that out, and it started sliding right back up. You guys can see, whoopsie, but not a big deal because I did catch it. I was like, nah, something seems off there. So, because I did feel it was a little tight. I'm like, let's try it. So now we almost have it. Just gotta lower a little bit more and we're done. Look at that, just going in nice and easy. All right, there we have it. Kingpin installed. I've been waiting to see this the entire life of the trailer. I wish that could come up one more hole. If it becomes an issue, I'll end up drilling out one more. I just want to make sure that this is a level setup first. I know a lot of times on 5th wheel setups, they like to sit a little lower just because of how high the hitch is. But I got mine down a little bit, so we'll, yeah, we'll see. Like I said, worst case scenario, we drill another hole. All right, so now that the trailer coupler is done, let's go over. I'm gonna try to give you guys 5 things I like and 5 things I don't like about it, because somebody asked this and I figure not much is going on today. This video is free to make, and I can just kind of, you know, give you guys the truth, how I like it, what I like, what I don't, and we'll go from there. So let's start with the 5 things I don't like about it, okay? When I bought this truck, it had 315,000 miles on it. It was a single wheel, it had 20x12s, completely blacked out, it was lifted, and a bunch of other things I didn't like, so I did all that. The biggest thing that I don't like about this truck when I bought it was some of the electronics don't work. Like any of the lighting, I don't have lights that work up here or work up here, and the two lights on the side that are supposed to be for cargo, those don't work either. So nothing in the headliner worked except for the overhead. So that's the biggest, that's one of the things I really don't like about this truck. I've never liked about it. It's unfortunate, you know, is what it is, and I'm just not in the mood to track it down and figure out what it is. But surprisingly enough, the top lights worked. So I don't understand that. Now, number 2 thing that I don't like about this, and yes, I know it's fixable, is the instrument cluster and any electronics to do with this truck at all. Most of the electronics when I bought this, like this thing was kind of an electrical nightmare when I bought. It had shitty half-ass gauges in it. It just had a bunch of electronics that were just pretty dang terrible. So that's number 2 I didn't like about it, was electronics wise, which was kind of why I went with the 12-valve swap and got rid of a lot of the electronics. So it's done right. It's done to the point of you can get in it every day and just drive it, okay? Not really much. The 12-valve really doesn't give me too many issues, if any at all. Number 3, the third thing I don't like about this, and it's funny because this is actually one of the things I do like, but I don't like at the same time. third gen interiors. Okay, you guys can see this type of dash right here. I don't like the early third gen dash setup. Like I do, but I don't. When I was going to buy a truck like this, I had to choose between, do I want an 06 with the nice interior but the shitty transmission, or do I choose an 04 with the good transmission but the shitty interior? That's the thing. So that's number 3. That's what I don't like about this truck, is the interior. I really like the 06 interior. I really wish I'd take the time to swap it. But that's why I'm going to get an 08 or 09 5500, because then I'll have the interior I like while still being able to just leave this thing alone. So that's another thing. Also, mind you, these things, the Dodge interiors, like this is one of those things. I really do like the Dodge interiors. I do like the 03, 04, and 05 interiors, but not as much as the 06. That's why I'm putting it on this list. But I'm also going to say, to go along with number 3, is these things are always breaking. The door panels are always like flaking like this. The seats are just god awful. I need a seat. You guys, check this out. On the other side, I went and bought one of these, and guess what? It snapped immediately. These little clips right here, they all break. So what I don't like about it is some of the interior stuff on these, look, like it's like, look at this. You know, I get that the truck has 533,000 miles on it. I get that it's a 17-year-old truck. It is what it is. But like, those are the things, like the interior just kind of, as much as I like it, I don't like it at the same time because it breaks easy. Now I don't have the broken dash yet. Like I could beat on this and not care because it doesn't, you know, happen. But along with the interior, look at this. My door handle on the, like, this is me calling the thing out. Like if you have this, like it's stuck like that, you have to push that in. This just happened, and then go like that. So to go along with number 2 and number 3, the wiring back here, in here, I've had to repair this wiring. There was 3 wires in here. This back window actually didn't work for the longest time, so I ended up fixing that. But yeah, so that's number 3, interior. Number 2, wiring. Let's go from this. Okay, so number 4, the 4th thing that I don't like about this truck. Yes, I get it came in handy at one point, but I hate that it's a 4-wheel drive truck. I just do. For commercial use, for my application, I wish that I would have just gotten a 2-wheel drive truck. And the thing is, it's not really, like, you guys see how high a 4-wheel drive truck sits? If you go and look at a factory rear end, like, these things have such a rake that it sits like up here. I had to reverse level the truck just to get it to sit level, and it's like, I need the front to come down another 2 or 3 inches would make me happy. But the problem is, you can't make these as low as a true 2-wheel drive truck, which, not that I want to go that low anyway, because you can see there's literally 2 inches between the bump stop and the actual axle itself. So, and then there's oil pan clearance and all that. I'm sure there's a way around it, but I really wanted the front to come down 2 more inches, or just get a 2-wheel drive frame for it and swap everything out. But that's number 4 that I don't like about this truck. Now, number 5, I know it's pretty obvious probably at this point. I get that the 9000 GVWR came in handy. Number 5 that I don't like about this truck is that it is just a 2500. I got a dually axle from a 2006, and I got the front hubs, and I got all 7 wheels and tires. I think I paid like $900 or $1,000, something like that. I forget how much I exactly paid for it. I put it under my 06. My 06 went out of commission for a while for a tranny issue, and then I swapped out for, I put it all in this. When I went to back out of a parking spot in New York the one day, I was empty, and I snapped the rear end. Okay, so I had to put it in 4-wheel drive and drive from New York to Pennsylvania, swap the rear end out in a weekend. So that kind of sucked, but yes, that's number 5. I hate that this is only a 2500. I wish that back then I would have just got a 3500, but you know, you live and you learn. The next truck will definitely be absolutely the truck that I want. This one's not gonna go anywhere, obviously, though. I'm definitely keeping this truck for as long as physically possible, but if you ever think that this thing will be for sale, it definitely will not be. So this will turn into a parts truck before I ever get rid of it. So just to put that out there, I do want to see 1,000,000 miles on this truck. So let's go over 5 things I actually do like about this truck. Let's go over this, right? Look at it. Look how good it looks. This thing, after how long I've had it, has come together so well. Besides the paint, and I need 3 hubcaps and a grill, but all that's on order. I love how it looks. just in general, I love how the truck looks. It needs a front grille, but besides that, it's like, it's just, and the hood obviously, but other than those things, it's like, it's a really good looking truck. It just is now. You know, it used to have a red bed, a silver cap, it had a white bumper on it, it had like steel rusted wheels out on it. It's like, this thing was ugly as shit. Now it looks, it had a chrome door cap, it had a chrome rear bumper, no, it just, all that stuff. So I like how, just the ultimately, number one, how it looks. Number two, and this is exactly why, for any of you guys wondering, why did I buy a Dodge? Why did I choose a Dodge? This right here is the one reason, besides the Cummins engine, the one reason that I chose, the year that I chose, was this guy right here, NV 5600. Obviously I wanted 4 doors too, so I wasn't getting a second gen, but NV 5600. That is my favorite part about the truck, is that it has an original 531 or 33,000 mile NV 5600. That's why I chose a Dodge with like this powertrain. This is why I chose it. You can't get a powertrain really this good in any truck, is just how I feel for like the older ones. And yeah, so number 3, I believe I'm at number 3. I think that the NV 5600 was number 2. So number 3, what I really like about this truck is the 12 valve swap. Now, I'm gonna show you guys, I did a 12 valve swap to this truck. The 12 valve has just about 300,000 miles now. The original motor died at 443. Now, I'm not saying I like the 12 valve swap because of, you know, there's no electronics and you can just drive it and you don't have to worry about sensors and braking shit. But I like the 12 valve because I can run paper logs. Simple as that. I can run paper logs legally and not worry about a thing. So that's one thing I really like about it, and the fact that it's like super simple, easy to work on. It just runs. If I ever have an issue, looks like I just sprung a little fuel leak there, so I think I sprung a leak right there, so I'm gonna fix that quick before I hit the road. But yeah, so 12 valve with an NV 5600, how can you beat this drivetrain? Like, you just can't. It's perfect. It's completely mechanical. You can run paper logs, and you have the NV 5600 behind it. I'm not gonna say that this is right or this is legal. I know 26,000 pounds is what I'm good for. With this combination, when I get my CDL, I'll be good for 30,000. I have had this truck pull, I'm not gonna say where, when, whether it was commercial use, whether it was personal use. This is gonna be, you know, so that way there's no issues behind it. I've had this combination up to 32,000 pounds, and it will do it. It just does it. It just does it. So that's gonna be that. Obviously, you know, everything's on the side, so every time I cross scales and everything, I'm always under 26,000. But I'm gonna say for personal use, I have had this combination up to 32,000 pounds, and it literally just does it. And it's with a 12 valve. It pulls just fine. I don't have any issues with it. I don't have any lag or any of that. So that's number 3, why I like this truck, why, you know, I kind of went with this truck. So number 4, I told you guys I didn't like that this was a 4-wheel drive truck, but I will say one of the things that I do like is that I have, even though this it's now a 2-wheel drive truck, but it still has the 4-wheel drive front axle. Now, what I like about that is the fact that it has the strength of a solid axle while remaining 2-wheel drive. Okay, I still have 2 low, so I can you know, I have 4 low, but there's no front axle shafts in it. There's no front drive shaft, nothing's spinning. I actually got a decent bump in mileage with taking out the front axles. So it's like when I want to back into a spot, I can put it in 4 low and just back in without the front axles trying to spin. So that's pretty cool. One of the reasons, so it's basically, you know, I have a 4-wheel drive with the transfer case, but it is converted to 2-wheel drive just because I've gutted everything in the front end. So, and that's how I like it. A 2-wheel drive truck, that's what I want. All right, so number 5, what I'm gonna tell you guys that I absolutely love about this truck, this will be the final thing that I go over. Yes, there is things, you know, that I could probably go down a list all day long of what I actually like, what I don't like, but that would get pretty boring. So the 5th and final thing that I actually like about this truck is that I can take, if I don't have fuel somewhere, I can literally just burn straight waste oil, tranny fluid, waste oil, anything that you can burn and is a lubricant, I can throw in that tank and run it. And the only adverse side effects that really you have from it is you just got to clean the screen on the lift pump and change the fuel filter more often. So in a bind, you can run anything in the fuel tank on these. Now I get it, you know, you're gonna wear your pump a little bit faster than you would. Instead of getting 500,000 miles out of it, you're only gonna get, you know, say 300,000 out of it. It's just, you know, the nature of the beast. But it's like, at the end of the day, that's kind of what I like about it, is that I can run it. Now I don't really do that at all anymore. I don't think I've run waste oil in this thing in a long time, but I've never really had any issues of any other issues of it, other than it clogs filters a little bit quicker. So as long as you're mindful of that, it's all right. But besides that, you're gonna have the smart asses in the comments to say, oh, I know this, this is why you're having these issues. No, you really don't. A lot of these people have no idea what they're talking about, and it's like, at the end of the day, I can get in this truck and just drive it. If I have an issue with the fuel filters or dumping whatever fuel I need to in it, you know, you just change the fuel filters and it runs. Okay, so it smokes a little bit more now, and you know, I'm not really noticing any less mileage in it, but it definitely does haze a little bit in idle. We do kind of might be able to contribute that to the fact that it has 300,000 miles on it, and I don't know when the last time a valve adjustment was done, and it has 300,000 miles on it. So, by the way, and this was an original motor with no tuning on it. This was a bone stock motor when I bought it. All the tamper-proof screws and everything were on it, the original injectors, the original P pump, and it was run. I bought it at 212. It's got almost 300,000 now. So that's basically it. If you have a problem with running waste oil, don't comment, because I don't care. I'm gonna do it whether someone says it's bad or not. I can do my own research on stuff if I don't like it. If I have an issue, it's like, it's okay to ask people, hey, you know, this is wrong, how do I fix it? Not what caused it, it's what fixed it, you know. So that's basically gonna do it. You guys can see these will be dropped off tomorrow. It's Sunday now, so I'll be dropping this one early in the morning. We're gonna be dropping this one right after that in Reading, and then we're gonna go get an engine for the CRV. You guys saw in yesterday's video what actually happened to the CRV. My dad and I basically talked about it, and he thinks that, you know, the head gasket going, probably too much coolant got in the oil and just wiped out the bearings. It is what it is. I know it's not the fault of the dealership, probably not, you know, they could have band-aided it, they could have not, but I just, at this point, with how many issues that I've had, I don't want to ask them for any more help or pay them to really do anything, because we had the head gasket done once. It failed on us in the first month, and then they warrantied it, and it hasn't had an issue since, other than the fact that it still kind of went through coolant and oil, and it went through a bunch of oil in a week. So it's like, I don't even care at this point. So I'm not gonna ask them for help, just gonna pay for the motor. We found a JDM motor for 650 bucks with 60,000 miles on it. We're gonna do an oil change, and since it only has 60,000 miles, I don't gotta do the timing belt and water pump or any of that, but we're just gonna slap it in, needs a motor mount, and we're good to go. So that's, you know, pretty much gonna do it. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one. Let me know if you have any other questions, but tomorrow's video is gonna be a vlog. We're gonna be dropping them off and coming back home with a nice, oh man, a nice JDM B20.